welcome to part 2 of my off-season triathlon training video series. In the first video I talked about when exactly you should start your off-season, and now that we've established when to start, I want to talk about the first phase in off-season triathlon training, which is complete rest. So at this point, I highly recommend athletes take a period of time, 2 to 6 weeks, completely off of triathlon training. No swimming, no biking, and no running. And in the following slides, I'm going to talk about why and more about the details of that. So, the main reason why I recommend taking some time completely off of swim, biking, and running is to rest your hormones, heal your body. And what I mean by that is all the little cartilage in your joints and your hip mobility and things like that need complete rest to fully heal. And so that's why I recommend it. It's also a good time to try new hobbies, which I'll talk about later. Avoid burnout, and by this I mean mental burnout of constantly swimming, biking, and running for 12 months. And it gives you an opportunity to live like a normal person. So if you give yourself permission to not swim, bike, and run, you can live like a normal person, just stress-free of, oh, I don't have to get to the gym or the pool or out on the bike or on the running trails and so on. So what are my guidelines for this rest period? Like I said earlier, 2 to 6 weeks, no swimming, no biking, no running, no hard strength sessions, and no early mornings. I make it a point to mention this because this is the time you need to sleep in and catch up on sleep. So afternoon naps, sleeping in as much as you can is really important for the overall rest and wellness of your body. As far as training goes, you can still do yoga, mobility work, some light strength training. I use this opportunity to really refine my technique. So on squats and deadlifts, for example, I'm in the gym just with the bar, just 45 pounds. I'm just going to work on technique for maybe 3 sets of 15 reps. And I'm not going to do anything heavy. I'm not sore. I'm just going to work on technique and, work with the trainer who's going to look at me and say, your squat looks good, your deadlift looks good, and so on. And then low intensity sports. So, maybe playing soccer with your kids or doing other sports you enjoy, besides swimming, bike, and running, of course. So as far as nutrition during the rest phase, I highly recommend just being relaxed about it. If you were training correctly, you should have been fairly strict about your nutrition, eating, lots of fruits, vegetables, high quality meats, healthy fats, and so on in the in-season. So in the off-season, use this time to, relax a little bit. Maybe have some wine, go out for some gluten-free beer or cider or things like that. But still avoid what I call food-like substances, or what Michael Pollan calls food-like substances, which means like stuff that's just horribly unhealthy and you should never put in your body, like aspartame or high fructose corn syrup or things like that I would recommend never putting in your body. I would avoid those at all costs just for your overall health, and so you don't die at the age of 60 of diabetes or Alzheimer's or something like that. And then avoid caffeine. And the reason I mention this is because your hormones and stuff can be stressed by excessive caffeine throughout the year. And I know a lot of triathletes rely on that in early morning swim practices and to just kind of keep their energy levels high. They use caffeine. So during this off period is a good time to kind of get away from the caffeine, and your body will become more sensitive to it later when you reintroduce it and possibly need it. As far as your overall lifestyle, I'm sure I mentioned this a few times in this 3-minute slide already, but get triathlon out of your mind. So think about other things. Triathlon is not part of your life at this point. Get it out of your mind and try and just think of different things. And doing this will avoid, the mental burnout of constantly being a triathlete. Another way to do this is try something new. So if you've always wanted to learn another language, I don't think you're going to do it in 2 to 6 weeks, but you could at least try. Pick up guitar, try something new, and this really helps get your mind off of triathlon and can just enrich your life by trying something new. It's also a good time to spend more time with your friends and family and kind of catch up on any lost time that you missed while you were training really hard for your triathlon. And I'll say it again in all caps, sleep. Sleep as long as you can without getting fired or divorced, so you can fully rest your body and give your hormones a break. So stay tuned for part 3. Part 3, I'm really going to jump into fitness aspect of the off-season and probably all the good stuff you've been looking for on how to train in the off-season.